What's up, man?
There you go. Now I hear you.
What's going on, guys?
Not much.
You know, no
Eating
kids.
my lunch.
What's up?
You're not playing school bus today?
No, my wife actually got work off for the next like week and a half or something like that. So I'm like, dude, hallelujah. You get some work done.
That
Just have fun, man.
Yeah.
Let me grab my kids like to come in here and then they grab my notebooks and they go color in all the notes that I took for all my meetings. Give me 2 seconds. I think I know where it is. Let me go grab that real quick.
Where is everyone?
How you doing, Jenny? You're muted.
Hanging in there.
Awesome. How'd the inspection go?
I'm still waiting on the foundation guys to
Okay.
get out there, so I don't have that. And then I'm gonna go in a few days and do a video walkthrough and a couple of them to send to the contractor, so he can give me a more accurate, well, not accurate, but an idea.
So this is the video for the contractor for the guy who's going to do the repairs.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
But the foundation guy I still haven't heard from, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. My inspection period ends next Monday, so I'm getting a little nervous.
Yeah. Especially if your guy hasn't been out yet.
Right. So
Was that the 30th or the 31st?
30th, yeah.
I know you talked about having your inspection period extended. Have you had that conversation?
Not yet. I'm waiting just to see if I can get a hold of this guy, and then the realtor who wrote it doesn't really want to try to extend it, but I'm thinking I might need to anyway, just because of all the financing and stuff.
Right.
But I don't know if they'll go for it, so we'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've done the application and everything. So if you need something else, let me know on that.
All right. I only took a cursory look at it, so I will have to deep dive into it tonight, make sure everything's there. We
Okay.
got the
I could send you all the new comps.
yeah, please. But we got an appraisal done in just a couple days. Last time we had one that had to be done in a pinch, so hopefully we can do
Okay.
this for you and get it all done for Monday.
Okay. What's the usual turnaround time on the whole process?
Yeah. Their answer is typically that they'll move as fast as you move. So as far as getting the foundation guy in there and getting their paperwork back, you know, we've closed within 10 days, 14 days.
Okay.
So
Okay. That'll work.
Sonia, what do you have going on?
Well, I am closing on my first wholesale deal.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Dude,
That
that's
was-
amazing.
Moved from tomorrow to end of the week because of the end buyer, their hard money lender wanted a survey, and then it was like, seriously, last Monday, oh, they want a survey. Oh, they don't want a survey. Oh, they want a survey. So just signed an amendment. Yeah, just signed an amendment. But it was my first wholesale deal, and it was virtual. In Dallas, Texas.
All right.
Yeah, so I was excited about that. And then I've done a couple private money lending, small ones. In fact, I was really happy. One woman, I only lent her like 20,000, but she had finished everything, was converting the house into a pad split, so she needed the furniture. So lent her for the furniture, and she sent me this big email about, oh, this room is going for cadets for the sheriff's training, and this room, you know, already has like rooms committed. So I was pretty excited about that. Yeah.
We just did it for a place that was in Tampa, wasn't it, Cindy? Where we had to raise some extra money for furniture for pad split?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one was for a woman in Atlanta. And then you know, analysis paralysis, but I was ready to go look at a property that looked like it could be a good flip based on the numbers. But then it's in an area called Plant City, which is fine. It's like a small 13, but that particular house was in a flood zone.
Okay.
And of the 3 comps, only 1 was in a flood zone. And so, and then the roof could not be replaced 3 years ago because of more structural damage. So then I decided, okay, this is more than what I should take on for my first flip. So that's where I'm at. I can analyze and talk myself out of it because I'm like, oh, they have to, you know, they want 200, and for it to be a deal, I'd have to offer 150, and oh, they'll never take that. So I'll just wait and watch.
Oh yeah, I understand that. I've been down that road. We've talked about that many times. And I always recommend, if you've gone through the steps to do all the underwriting, whatever the number is, share it.
Just
Make
make
that
an offer.
offer. You know, if it's 150 and they're asking 200, just say,
Yeah.
you know what, this is, I know you want 200, but for me, this project works for 150, and here's why. Because chances are, and Jesse said this plenty of times, is that they're probably getting calls from other investors as well, and
Yeah.
you know, throwing out lowball offers. And if you could go in and just say, hey, this is my reasoning why, and that starts a dialogue, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And sure, they might just say, yeah, no, thank you. Oops, thanks for the reminder there, Jesse. I hope you can hear me all right. I had my microphone way over there. But you know, at least it starts the dialogue, and maybe they'll say no, but maybe they might say yes, or they might come back and say, well, what about 155?
Yeah.
Or that may not work for this deal, but I have another property over here. Let's talk about that one.
They were.
All those things have been known to come up if you start a conversation. But if you don't, then A, you put all that work in for nothing, and B, you just don't know unless you have that conversation. So,
Okay. And what I use to find properties right now, I pretty much focus with Privy.
oh, excellent. All right.
Yeah.
You use Privy quite a bit as well. Oh. And are you looking primarily in that Dallas market?
I was looking in Dallas because I had hooked up with a very small, and I was part of REAM, just had my exit interview today. And a very small little coaching mentorship that I liked because it was more, I mean, we'd have calls 2 times a week, and there'd be about as many, 4, 5, 6 people. So I like that.
Yep.
And that's why I opted for Dallas, because they were located in Dallas, seemed a little bit, you know, if I had questions of the area. And I find Florida, it's like, if it looks like a good deal, it's someone else is going to snatch it up paying more than what they asked for on Privy. So I think Florida for wholesaling, it's a little, at least I've found for me, a little harder, because at the same time, if you get like, I guess, listings that have just come up, you do. Yeah. You've got to be prepared sometimes to decide to flip it, because they're going to want more than what is being offered. Not follow up on ones that I've lost. Even I say lost, okay, I never offered, but mentally I lost them, and some of them do sell for more. Most of them.
Yeah. And just doing wholesaling off on market deals is tough enough. You know, we like to look for those off market deals, the ones that expired listings.
Yeah.
But there's little nuggets to be found everywhere. Chris, I see you snuck in on us. How you doing?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
Good. Are you in the car today?
Chris is out taking his Lambo just around the corner.
Yeah. He's
Thought I heard
McDonald's.
tires.
One of the handful that he has that he bought creatively.
Yeah.
It's not the Lambo. It's actually the range today.
Got the range today. Okay.
Well, hey, Chris, while you're driving, tell them about your Turo business you started.
Oh my God, I freaking love it. So the Turo business itself is going great.
Does
Actually,
everybody know what Turo is?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Does everyone know what Turo is?
Please explain. I've used them once, so I know, but please explain.
Yeah, no worries. So those who don't know what Turo is, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So those who don't know what Turo is, it specifically is a rental car business, just like a national, like let's say like a Hertz, an Enterprise, Dollar, those national rental companies that you can rent a vehicle from. So more so, there's another more so like a sister company called Turo, just like them, where essentially you can use either your own vehicle and or go rent a vehicle and put it on Turo, however you want to do it, and make money off of it. So initially, what I did, I actually bought all three vehicles thus far, creatively. I actually bought it subject to. Even my personal vehicle I'm in right now, I bought it subject to. So it's pretty neat concept. It's pretty neat.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Chris? What does that mean you bought it subject to? Like you went to the dealership or something, or you got on Craigslist and was like, hey, I'm gonna buy this subject to, or like what do you mean? What does that mean?
So essentially subject to means just more so not using any of my own credentials, not basically essentially not checking my credit, not checking anything along those criteria. I need to fill out an application. I didn't have to, go to a bank to say, hey, how do I get approved for this? Or or anything like that. Subject to is literally just taking over the existing loan in place. And in this case, the loan was actually on the vehicle. So like for instance, one of the vehicles I bought was a Lexus. And and it was due to Lexus dealership. I didn't have to communicate with them at all. I didn't have to have a single conversation with them. Myself and the original seller, we put documents together. We went through the DMV, and then within days, the vehicle was mine.
So you had a seller who had a Lexus, if I'm hearing you right. They wanted to get rid of it, and you basically approached them and said, hey, I'll buy it from you, but we'll just keep the loan in place and I'll just make the payments for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you didn't go through the bank or anything, and then so the loan's still on that seller's name is what you're saying to this day.
Yep.
You're just making the payments, and then you just went to the DMV and put title in your name. Did I understand that right?
Registration. In this case, it'd be registration. Yeah, that is correct. So essentially, yeah, it's more. I don't want to say easier than said, but it is. It was pretty easy process. It was a pretty simple process, I should say. I'm literally actually negotiating with my fourth vehicle, which is pretty neat. And the Toro business is something that more so I think a lot of people can really benefit from due to the fact of its extra incomes and treat it as a side business. You don't need to really do much as far as like maintenance or anything like that. Of course, all the vehicles we have the limited car wash. So when somebody returns a vehicle, I just take the vehicle to the detail shop and it's included in the $20 a month for the unlimited car wash interior. And then literally can get it ready for the next client. So it's pretty neat.
Chris, a couple questions on that then. How is buying a vehicle subject to different than buying a house or a property subject to?
Only process I think is different. Is more so the paperwork. That is it. Everything else is the same.
The concept is very right. This concept is the same in that the property, the mortgage is staying with in the name of the originator. The difference is the real property, right? The house doesn't have wheels, like so. A car's a little different. Is there a different insurance? How do you get through all of that?
I guess insurance is the same exact way.
Yeah. Okay.
Same exact way. Literally, you either add yourself if you're buying a property, same way you're buying a vehicle. You add yourself as an additional insurer on their specific policy. If, like for instance, if the one I'm using is Progressive. Progressive is a nationwide one, and more so, I added the seller to. Well, initially, I added myself to their policy until the transaction was actually fully completed. And once the transaction is fully completed, I put my own insurance in place and added the initial seller to my policy. Because at the end of the day, when you're buying subject to whether it's a vehicle or whether it's commercial or residential real estate, you have to make sure the original lender seller has to mirror the actual insurance. They always got to match.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Got it.
So if you buy a vehicle subject to of somebody who's under the age of 25, you're going to be paying a premium price for insurance. Is that what I'm hearing from you, Chris?
Just a little bit, yeah.
So that's probably important to as part of your underwriting, if you will, when you're looking at the deal, is make sure that the insurance isn't out of whack.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sounds like Chris discriminates. He wants people above the age of 25.
Yeah.
But no, it's amazing. It's amazing. Just more so what you really want to look to do. I'm actually having a meeting with another gentleman this Friday about what I'm doing and what he's doing, and I'm actually moving into the luxury space in regards to car rentals. And I'm just more so because initially, like, everyone could do Turo, right? But at the same time, specifically, you got to know your market. You got to know exactly what the demand for cars. Like, for instance, I'm not going to try to buy what's it? I'm in upstate New York, Rochester specifically. For those who may or may not know that, I'm not going to buy a Ferrari, right? I'm not going to buy a Ferrari and put that on Turo in upstate New York. It's going to sit there and collect dust. It's not a good investment for me. Versus if I'm in, Las Vegas, Nevada, and California, Florida, that'd be a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
So I got to be strategic when I do buy these vehicles. And I literally just pulled the trigger on one literally 2 days ago. Literally Jesse and I just went on the Zoom, and another gentleman actually almost tried to pull the trigger, but I beat him to the punch, which was pretty neat. Small world.
Coincidentally, you could have jumped on a Zoom with anybody. He was like, man, I was trying to get this vehicle.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So Turo is an app that allows you then to take any vehicle and rent it out peer to peer, right? So if Sonia wanted to rent a car, she's going to go out there and she's going to find your Lambo as a rental and say, yes, it's in the area, the price is what I'm looking to pay. And she rents from you rather than Hertz or rent a car.
Correct.
All right. So how does the numbers work out?
It's actually much cheaper too. Because
Okay.
essentially, how sometimes, some rental companies actually moving towards, you need a credit card to put on file. They got to hold sometimes a $500 deposit to your return plus additional amount. So there's a lot of different things. And plus now they're actually putting layers of security, and I get it. Things happened in the past. People are taking advantage of the rental business. And another thing that Turo, all my vehicles have trackers. Not one, not two, but three.
All right.
Anyone can try to look for one, and they got it, right? But what's the odds of getting two of them? Now, if they get two, they're good. But if they hit the third one, then they've been doing this for quite a while.
Then they deserve it.
Right, they deserve it. So I just make sure, because you never know, because they rent the vehicle for about 3 or 4 days and go on a weekend trip, and maybe they get robbed. You just never know. So then there's a lot of layers of protection on the back end that we have in place, which is pretty neat.
Chris, I'll just give you an idea. So I rented Turo twice, both actually for our mobile home park. But
nice.
You can't rent a truck from Hertz or National it's harder, right? A truck with a hitch, actually.
Yeah.
So I rented a truck from Turo, which was so much better because you don't have to go in the stand in the pickup line at Hertz or Ada or anything. You just they give me this car here's all the lockbox number, and you just pick it up. It's so seamless. I love it. But I had to rent a truck because we were going to our mobile home park, and I had to go through Turo because the rental companies did not have any trucks. So that's actually an opportunity. You want to get a truck, like a pickup.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, he has 7 vehicles right now on Turo, and he's doing an amazing job. And guess what? All the vehicles are Toyotas.
Oh.
Every last vehicle is a Toyota, and he's making over $9,000 a month easily. And because he knows his market.
Yeah.
He knows his market. So that's great that he did the research. And one, let's be honest, a Toyota Camry, whatever, that's a Toyota Tundra, they're reliable vehicles.
Yes.
And there's just nothing wrong with them.
Mhm.
And that's actually so funny that literally, maybe I can do maybe I can have one of the sellers come on one day and show you guys, because I'm actually getting a free vehicle. It's a 2023. The reason I bring up Toyota Camry, because the seller name is Alex. He's actually wrapping. He bought this vehicle subject to. He's actually wrapping it to me.
Oh wow, there's another concept.
So it's a 2023 Camry Nightshade. It has about 16,000 miles on it, and I literally put not a single dollar down. Not a single dollar down.
It's awesome.
And it's actually over near you, Cindy. Over
It
near
is?
you. Yeah.
Wow.
So part of the process, when people buy these kind of vehicles, especially being in Nashville, I'm in New York, she's in Arizona. Perfect example is you find somebody who has boots on the ground to go inspect the vehicle, and or have the seller take it to a dealership and or get it inspected and send them a report over. Because anyone can send photos over, right?
Right.
But
So we got a vehicle to drive around next month when we're in Arizona. Is that what you're saying?
100%. He's gonna park the car at Cindy's house, and then we're gonna take it from
There
Cindy. There we go. We got a whole system in place.
There we go. Oh yeah.
So does that Lambo seat for?
We'll have you be, you'll be the designated driver.
my big ass need to be in the trunk. I cannot fit in there.
So Chris, give us an idea. What do the numbers look like?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So the numbers are more so I officially launched it 2 months, 3 months now? 2 or 3 months. So I think the biggest month was last month because I had a full month. I can't really compare it because both vehicles I bought initially were either started like towards the end and or the first one was towards the beginning. And it took me a while to actually load that car up because you actually got to go through like a process to actually load the vehicles up. Then you got to actually go through a training course with Turo. And then not just you get your own insurance, but they have their insurance. And then also the insurance company have to match the third insurance to make sure it's approved. So there's a process, which is great. And then they got to approve me as a individual to check my stuff to make sure I'm actually not basically a human being. Just make sure I'm a human being, not out there just doing crazy stuff. But to answer your initial question, like for instance, last month, with just the 3 vehicles, I made $3,600, right? That's
All right.
That's extra income with the cars just sitting there. Now that's gross, right? That's gross.
Right.
Now, essentially, lucky for me, I live in a complex where I don't have to rent out a lot. There's a buddy of mine who actually rent out like lots and or some kind of spaces where they can park the vehicles and all that good stuff. So essentially, after the $3,600, more so each vehicle has a limited car wash sticker and a detail sticker, because you always want to make sure your car is washed and also detailed before the next person rents the vehicle and all that good stuff. You never know what can happen. Luckily, the vehicles that I have, they've been taking great care of them. And 2, the one thing I do preface with is the type of gas. Some of these vehicles I have, you need a certain kind of gas in it. And we let them know in 4 different spots when they're renting that they got to put this particular gas in it, because if you don't, you're going to be charged. Because sometimes if you're used to driving a vehicle that only takes 87, your vehicle takes 93. That's a difference. That's a difference. And
how do you monitor that, Chris?
we always ask them for receipts. When they fill up the tank, we always ask them for receipts. If they don't provide receipts, then we automatically deduct it.
You know what I'm worried about? I've got a Volkswagen Passat that runs on diesel.
Yeah.
So it's a sedan that runs on diesel.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm worried that I would get I would put that on Turo and somebody would just absentmindedly put gas in it, and then I'm kaput.
Yeah. Be honest, I'll be that guy. If I would borrow a car, I'll probably put 87 like nothing was wrong with it. Oh my God.
Maybe a good way to, go buy a new car. You put some clause in there that says as soon as you put gas in there, there's $20,000 thing or something. It's funny. Van Halen back in the day, not to deviate, But Chris is like the contract king. But Van Halen, like all these 80 bands back in the day, got this big reputation for being so disruptive and this and that. And Van Halen, anytime they had such a huge stage production that there was just a lot of safety protocol. They were always swinging on wires and things like that. And their contract was like a book. It was like a Harry Potter book. And so just to make sure that everything was seen and taken care of and safety protocol was addressed appropriately, right in the middle of a smack dab, it would say something along the lines of there should be no brown M&Ms in the M&Ms bowl. And then if they walked back there and there was brown M&Ms, they know that somebody did not go through that contract and address all those safety things appropriately. And so they would have like $1 million buyout or something like that. They have these interesting clauses. But
that is interesting because it forces you something simple like that, right? No one really cared about the brown M&Ms, but it was a flag, simple flag, so you know that somebody was paying attention or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I like it.
Nice.
What do you think, Chris? Maybe throw something in the contract that says if you put gas in it, like put it right there in the middle in little lettering. If they put gas in the car, it's a $25,000 buyout.
I thought you meant gas in the back seat. You said in the car. I didn't do that.
Oh, love it.
Well, keep us posted on that, Chris. That's quite interesting, and it's a different thought. We've thought about going out and buying subject to RVs.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and or even mobile homes, but primarily RVs for our park in Oklahoma.
There you go.
So that would be an interesting one too.
We should do subject to container homes.
Oh my God. That I'm sorry, I just got excited. I just watched I was on Netflix the other day watching Container Home. I got super excited about those. I watched the whole season. It was pretty neat. I think that would be amazing not opportunity, but amazing business itself. Container homes. That's becoming more popular literally by the minute.
Yeah.
So for those who are on the call, actually, we are looking for investors who are wanting to buy container homes for our park. Our whole thing that we're doing, we're actually looking for investors who want to get an LTR as a container home. Max is in the process of writing up. Oh, sorry, Colleen, I hear you.
I helped my niece build her house. You can also buy a structure kit that goes along with the containers where you can combine multiple containers to make her house is ending up being almost 3,600 square feet, all constructed out of containers in Colorado. And so, there's some kits to make it easier for the engineering side of it. It actually turned out to be pretty cool. Anyway, interesting. It's an interesting prospect.
Yeah, they've really make some really cute units, right? So these ones that we look at aren't the long 40-foot containers, they're the half container, 20-foot. So they're it's a 1 bedroom with a full kitchen, full bathroom, but they're really done well. And
we're looking to replace our RVs.
Yeah, try to upgrade the park and make it look a little better. Yeah. A little more
They're getting zoning restrictions, though, is what we're starting to see in the Seattle area. There were quite a few constructions and engineers that were starting to do that around here. But now the city is starting to zone them out.
Oh.
I don't know if you're seeing that, but
I wonder if they're not on a park or they're not, you know what I'm saying? They're not in. Yeah, maybe if they're just sitting on the back of someone's home.
Or these were starting to replace some older areas.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Because it was a substantially less expensive way of putting in a new multi-floor structure. To replace an existing kind of older home. So they tore it down and they were starting to put container buildings or container houses in. Anyway, it's been an interesting business model to watch. Kind of cool though.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested, just reach out to Cindy. She does have all the numbers, and what that whole system would look like. So maybe one of
Yeah.
these days we can come in and do that presentation here, Cindy. But
Yeah. Once we get it all glamped up.
yep.
Yep.
So Colleen, what do you have going on?
I have 2 negotiations. I did a marketing campaign.
Awesome.
That I was just testing a particular area. I got a lot of returns. I'm not sure that I'm going to get them closed. One of them was in a really high flood zone.
Okay.
So I'm walking from that one. That one's not too exciting. I had another one that I was hoping to do for a rental, but it zoned against both short-term and long-term rentals. So that one was out. I am looking at another opportunity. So I only started the marketing, I think I told you last week. So in less than a week, though, I had 52 replies, which I thought was
Fabulous. Great
huge.
job.
I thought that was huge,
That is huge. Yeah.
especially in what, week and a half, I guess.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
So I'm thinking about doing a similar campaign launch here in the Seattle area. But I'm looking at one of them, and it's one of the 52. I don't know how you guys do due diligence, but it takes a lot of time for me to really scout that out, unless you have some magical advice on how to make it go fast.
We'll let you know. We're going to have that conversation after this meeting.
Okay.
Chris and Cindy and I have a team members meeting, and that's the topic of discussion for us: is how do we get our underwriting done quicker? So
Okay. Well, then I'll look forward to hearing the magic.
and I don't know if there's a whole lot of magic. It looks like a whole lot of sweat and tears to me, but we'll keep you posted. We'll see what we come up with. But if you do need any help, just let us know.
I will. Thank you so much.
Yep. Great
appreciate
job
it.
getting 52 leads. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, pleasantly, but yeah, I was pretty excited.
Chris, what have you been up to besides buying cars?
Oh, putting out fires, left and right, and one of our tenants, it was so funny because one of our tenants over in Virginia, our property over in Virginia, tenant came in, and more so, she moved in the first week of September, I want to say. So moved in the first week of September. And the reason I'm telling you this just want to give you a little background story as far as where I'm leading up to. Her and her wife moved in the first week of September with their 3 kids. And literally before they moved in, they was actually having trouble finding a home. So these specific tenants didn't have the best credit. They were very truthful. They were very transparent about their situation, what happened in the past. And we did check their credit, and essentially we only put tenants who in our properties who are 600 and above, right? And they were below that. And initially we had a conversation. The rents for that specific property was $2,400 a month, right? They said they could afford it.
Yeah.
One of the spouses was a hairdresser, and the other person is, I forgot what she's, a nail esthetician or whatever, work at a nail salon. But long story short, they paid us about $30,000 up front. So they wired us $30,000. So they paid for the entire year.
Got it.
That's how committed and how serious they were, ready to move forward. And initially, so they moved into the property. They're super excited. They're, they kept taking us up and down. Fires, thank you for the opportunity. Everyone denied us, and they were just kind of resting assured that they take care of our property. And there's a single family house. It's a 3-bed, 3-bath, and I'm sorry, 4-bed, 3-bath, and nice backyard. So I get home yesterday, just to fast forward a month and a half later. get home yesterday from my son's karate, and I look at 3 videos that was sent to my phone from a random number. I don't know the number. I got a horrible job saving numbers, to be honest. So I got 3 videos, and there was a lot of profanity that was mentioned, a lot of videos that was shown of what was going on in the house, of Magic standing in your kitchen and the water just coming down.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
So pretend like it's like raining, but on a level of 5, no 6, maybe 6.
Indoors. Yeah.
Indoor, but it's not raining outside. Just that one
Oh
house.
boy.
Just that one house.
And you don't have your bathing suit on.
So that's what I encountered yesterday. So immediately when that happened, more so my first thought process, let me, reach out to my business partners and, let's get on the phone and see what we can do. So long story short, I know I guess make it a long story long. We resolved the situation. We reached out to the original seller. Now, mind you, we bought this house subject to an VA loan. And this is actually a good reason why you always keep relationships, especially with the original homeowners, because essentially they kind of knew what was going on prior, right? They know what the in and out. They bought the house, I think, what, Jesse, 2011, 2012, and more so the report was there. So the original seller answered right away, and we told him, hey, we got a flood or a leak, whatever you call it. There's something that's going on in the house. Do you know what happened to happen at the specific time you own the property when you're living there? Why is there patches up there? What happened? Is there anything that you did not tell us? And then she started to tell us about some leaks in the bathroom, some repairs that were potentially done by a handyman, and it got to a point where she did admit that she did know a little bit about it, right? But wasn't really disclosed as much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So imagine these tenants, they're freaking out because it appears their ceiling is about to cave in any second because there's a leak somewhere. Only the Lord knows where it's at. Jesse and I, we're not we're not plumbers. We don't know. We need somebody just to fix it. We don't care how it gets done. Just somebody fix it. So Jesse and I, we did reach out to the tenants. We guided them to more so to find a water valve to shut it off, and in the upper bathroom and all that good stuff. And then, after that happened, we got a plumber out there. The plumber specifically, just make sure not all 5 reviews are great on Google, guys, when you find plumbers. Plumber went out there and said, hey, we gotta open up your ceiling. We gotta do this, and this. So he just started cutting into the ceiling. So we got an open ceiling, but his job, they're not allowed to patch it back up. So we got an open ceiling. But then he calls us back and say, hey, I actually can't find where the leak is coming from. Basically, there's no resolution. So you just cut a hole in our ceiling. We got a big gap, and then there's no resolution, right? So our first thought process, essentially, I'm pretty sure you're going to want some kind of compensation for going out there, and 2, there's no resolution.
Right.
So I kept asking, so you're telling me from your expertise and how long you've been doing this, you're telling me that you cannot find or troubleshoot where the water's coming from. So after that conversation, not even 6 minutes later, they found the resolution. And
yeah,
that's what happened yesterday. Did Jesse leave anything out?
I don't think so. I was about the bone skinny of it, my friend.
so
It was an eventful Sunday evening.
It was a pipe.
No,
Was it a pipe?
It was a loose valve near the second bathroom I'm saying to the left, like you're looking at the blueprint. To the if you look at the kitchen, it's on the second shower in the bathroom. One of the valves is extremely loose. So anytime they take a shower, anytime they do anything, it just got to a point where it's just building up, and then it just went everywhere. So I thought it was a pipe as well. As much water that was coming down, I thought, no, if it's a bus, maybe it was a pipe. Then I was actually communicating with Jesse saying, well, that was kind of a quick resolution. Do you think he just stated that he found something to get out of there? And or what is it's just a lot of things are going in my mind of what that looks like. But long story short, we do got an inspector that's supposed to be going out there today, and also another gentleman to go to check his stuff just to ensure that something basically won't happen again. We actually going to replace the entire ceiling. It kind of works out because the kitchen was a popcorn ceiling kind of setting. So it'd be great to get a new ceiling just in case when in the future we do go to sell the property. We already got that in place, right?
Right.
So,
That's one way to make lemonade out of lemons. So
yeah, there's a lot of lemons.
So as we talk about rentals, right, and as we progress in our real estate investing world, one of the things we always kind of talk about is building up a war chest, right? Or a rainy day fund, if you will, if we're just rainy kitchen fund. But having some money set aside just for these what if scenarios, these scenarios is very, very important, right? Because it's one thing for something like this to happen, right? And it's a bad day for everybody, but it's going to turn into a really bad day if it catches you at the wrong time. And you're looking at your bank account and it's more negative than positive, and you got all your other money tied up in other investments. You have plumbers to take care of and drywallers to take care of and tenants. Things do happen, so always make sure you have some extra funds set aside as you're moving forward in the rental world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's not always.
So wait, so when you
lollipop.
see a post out there that says total entry fee, buy and hold, great great buy and hold, make sure you budget for that stuff.
Would you claim it on insurance, or would you not? As a general practice? No.
It really all depends. It really all depends on the scenario. But in this one, no, I couldn't claim it on insurance.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of different things they look at, right? Was it done intentionally? Was it not done? What was actually happened during the time? Was it like a foundation? It's a lot of different things they actually look at before they can actually make that assessment. And can I attempt to potentially try to submit a claim? Yes, but I can get denied very quickly. Now, if the pipe bursts, that's a different conversation. Now, if it's a loose valve or something, that's something that should have been caught during inspection or anything like that, right?
So I've used the guideline kind of like $2,000 or less, then I don't involve my insurance.
Right.
Because that's my guideline. Because I'll raise my insurance anyway if I make the claims. So that's my guideline. I was just wondering if you guys had a guideline that you used with something similar.
No, we can use Colleen's guideline. $2,000.
I don't. That's what I've been using for my rentals.
No, I like it. I like it.
I know Cindy dropped it in the side chat, but does anybody have a deal?
So Christy asked a great question. Jesse, I think this is a great question for you. How you guys got connected? How did you take over the VA loan subject too? This is actually Jesse's connection. I believe they're both in them. They met through was it military, or I can't remember how you guys met. You and Vivian.
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, because I know the lead came from you though. I do know that.
I don't know if she was following me on social media and found out I was a veteran and that we were doing like creative stuff, and then reached out and was like, hey, she actually on this particular property, I want to say that's what happened, bro. To be honest with you, I don't remember. It was a while ago. But I think she reached out and was like, hey, I'm a veteran and I saw that you guys are doing this. This sounds like something that I would be interested in. And so we got on a phone with her, and she was like, yeah, let's do it. So there really isn't most people are probably expecting like a really good story, but that was kind of a very low what's the word? It's not a Tom Cruise story. It's not very action packed. She saw us, she was following us on social media, reached out, was like, hey, I'm trying to sell my house, can't sell it because I have a VA loan. I don't have any equity in it, so I can't sell it on the market. And I need to, I'm getting out of the military. She was stationed at Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, and bought this house. I think how long she owned it, Chris? A year or two, maybe.
Okay.
Yep, it was a little bit over a year.
When we took it. Yeah. So those of you guys who don't know, with the VA loans, what's great is it allows our veterans to become homeowners without putting any money down. So typically when you're FHA or conventional, even, you've got to put anywhere between 5% down to 20% down. So with a VA loan, that's an entitlement that you get as a veteran, is you can go buy a property and you don't have to put any money down. Now, consequently, if you own that property for a year, so let's say a property appraises for, just throwing out numbers, 200,000, and they're asking is 200,000. Well, by the time you end up rolling real estate commissions, closing costs, they got what's called a VA funding fee, which is just it's kind of like when you go to the dealership and they throw the bullshit dealer doc fee out there, it's kind of just one of those things. So, but the VA funding fee can be thousands and thousands of dollars. It can be like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 sometimes. And it goes up every time you use it. So by the time you buy this house that's worth 200,000, by the time it's all said and done, you might owe 212,000 on a property that's worth 200,000. So you fast forward a year, if the average appraisal, or I'm sorry, appreciation rate is 3%, that property might be worth 208, 209, maybe somewhere in there. And you still owe 210 on it. So you're still even upside down. And then once you tack on closing, when you go to sell it and you tack on closing costs and commissions and all that other kind of fun stuff, you got to come out of pocket 20 grand to sell that thing. So she'd been trying to sell it, couldn't really sell it, and was like, hey, heard, this is what you guys do. Is there any way that you'd be interested in buying my property? So we're like, heck yeah, let's do it. Christy, I see you got a hand up. What's going on?
Okay, so I am probably going to try to speak for some people know her as Gigi Ann, but her name is Patricia Bear, and she's a member too. She was a ring sister also. She has a deal going right now where it's a veteran. He's behind. It's a 4,500 square foot house, 6 bedrooms, 6 baths in Pottsboro, Texas, which is north of Sherman. So, like 20 minutes north. So it's a good area. I had somebody run comps on it, and I said, well, I told her to see if he would be willing to do a subject to on it. And he's saying, well, if I do that, then I can't get another loan. And so we're having some. Oh gosh, and she's incredibly sick too. Yeah, she said she's been giving back to the community, that white bowl of community, So anyway, she has a situation. He needs to sell it. It's going into foreclosure, and we're wanting to know how we can do this. Is there, y'all got any ideas on this?
Yeah, let's get him on the phone.
Get him on the phone. Well, I'm texting her, and like I said, she is quite the not feeling very well. Oh shoot, I lost y'all. I don't know how to get back. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay.
You said it's going into foreclosure?
Yeah.
Well, If it goes into foreclosure, I would say that getting another VA loan is the least of his worries.
Right.
Well, yeah, I get that. He's a disabled vet.
I got you. Well, there's a big misconception when it comes to VA loans, is that you can only use your VA loan once or have one out at a time, which is incorrect. You can have
That's what
multiple
I
VA
said.
loans out. Yeah.
That's fair.
Now
Mhm.
there's stipulations to that. I can go into those if you want to. It's kind of confusing. But I'm more than happy to go into that so you understand if you'd like me to.
Give me just a second. I'm texting her.
Why don't you have her jump into the Zoom?
Well, she's throwing up.
Oh, she's throwing up. Oh, well, at least
Yeah.
she could jump in here and I could explain it to you and she could listen
Okay. Okay.
if that would help.
Anything at this point would help.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
So if
Take your
somebody
time.
else wants to, yeah, if
Well,
somebody else wants to jump on, then mute me and then let somebody else talk, if that's all right.
Yeah, no worries. I was actually going to ask, I put this in the chat. If anybody wanted to come off mute, kind of get some engagement here, guys. Is there anybody in here that's doing 2 to 5 deals a month pretty regularly? Nobody? Okay, so if you're not, and you're in this Zoom and you're not coming in here and asking the question and saying, hey guys, I'm not doing 2 to 5 deals a month regularly, then come off mute. Let's have a discussion. That's why this is here. The last thing we want you guys doing is spending any time in here just consuming content. The whole point of this is for you guys to be able to have a platform, have a place where you don't have to pay to be here. And you can come in here and get all the value that you need to make sure that you are set up week after week and month after month. It's fourth quarter. We got a little over 2 months left before we start the new year. You guys should be thinking about what you want to do in 2024. The questions that you guys have and the ability you guys have to come into these Zooms right now, the action that you take on the information that you guys get in these Zooms every Monday is what's going to set you up for what next year even looks like for you. So if you're not doing 2 to 5 deals a month, then come off mute and let's talk about it. We want to hear more about what's going on in your business. Why aren't you doing 2 to 5 deals a month? And let's brainstorm on what you need to get there.
Amen.
Yeah, that is.
Anybody want to
question
come off mute and throw themselves out there?
Here I am, catch me.
Hi, Sonia.
I had a question because like Shane, you were saying, okay, and I had, when I first got into real estate investing with Reen, and I had tried to distress properties and amazed how many responses, who was speaking earlier, and then went to the privy, but you were making the comment that maybe I should also look at expired listings. Because I'll be honest, I get an email from a realtor and, she set it up like an auto, and I'm not sure the filter that she used, but I'll get an expired listing, but sometimes they're like a mobile home, it's Florida, rural.
Right.
It could be a mobile home or whatever. And another time I went in there trying to say, okay, can I find a property that I think could be a deal? And I just really maybe not played around with that software enough. But how do you approach expired listings for opportunities? And here's another question. For properties on MLS, do you guys, it's kind of like I said, sometimes to get those so I can, tag into Jess, yes, I'm now doing 2 to 3 deals a month. Do you all usually, if you're going to make an offer, make the full offer either through the listing agent or your own agent? If the listing agent doesn't want to represent you, by filling out the full contract, or sometimes just, here's an email, here's my offer. If they're willing to accept it, then I'll follow up with a contract.
I always just followed up with an email with an offer, just a written offer, rather than all the paperwork, because the rejection rate for, and then this goes back almost a year, before Cindy and I were even working together, I did a lot of direct to agent outreach and was doing lots of offers, but probably had a 90% rejection rate because, you know, the motivation quite wasn't there yet, right? They hadn't sit on market long enough.
Yeah.
The approach wasn't quite fine tuned as it is today, but basically I was just going back out to the agent and saying, okay, here's my offer and here's why, right? I just had a little Excel spreadsheet calculator and says, okay, here's what the rehab budget looks like, because all I was doing fix and flips primarily, and the house needed some work. Here's what I think it's worth when it's done, and you know, trying to get to that 70-cent deal formula, and just showing it to the realtor and take it or leave it type of thing, and on to the next. But I was doing, you know, 10 to 20 a day, easy every day, and that's probably in that game. It was a game of numbers. So you had to be quick and be able to process through. So you don't want to fill up the long form offer for every property because the majority of them weren't being accepted.
Right.
Until you had that acceptance, then you go, okay, we'll fill out a contract.
So if they came back and said, okay, you know, we're willing to consider your offer, then you'd either ask them if they'd represent you, and if not, find a realtor to work with and present the actual offer.
Right.
Okay.
And sometimes you kind of use that as a leverage to say, hey, if you can get, because the realtor can be the gatekeeper, and they're the ones kind of, either they can make it easy for you to get to the seller, or make it a little harder to get to the seller. So you just say, we'll let you collect both sides of the commission if we can make this deal work. And that kind of always kind of did that incentive, because I wasn't really working with one particular realtor in one market unless they brought me the deal, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Now how about off market, not the expired listings? Your comment on that, or is that for another day?
No, this is a perfect time, unless Christie's got somebody on the line. But otherwise, when we look at expired listings, usually what we're looking at is the house is already off the market, right? It's sat on the market for 6 months, seasoned. They probably had a lot of tire kickers look at it or not. A lot of lowball offers, you know, so whatever it was, something about that didn't work out. It probably wasn't priced right, you know, wasn't marketed right. So we kind of dive into that and try to figure out what's going on there, and then come back and say, you know, most realtors want to come back. Most of the phone calls they're getting at that point is another realtor saying, relist with us. We come on and say, you know, don't relist your house, sell it to us. And then usually that's a great time to figure out what the pain points are, why are they trying to sell, what didn't work out in a traditional market, and structure your deal around that. And sometimes that's where a seller finance or a sub-2 deal really works out well.
Okay. Thanks.
And that reminds me, then I guess we need to put together another privy night and sit down with privy again and run through some examples
Privy
and find some
power hour.
leads.
Yeah, privy power hour.
Yeah, and that kind of to Jesse's point, is anybody that doesn't have 2 to 5 leads a month, we should figure out a way to sit down together and let's generate some leads. Let's get some offers out.
Teresa made a comment. Sounds like she's got a lot going on and doesn't have a whole lot of free time, but thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Can you tell me a little bit more? I'd love to kind of dive in a little bit more as to what's going on and what is it you're trying to do, and how can we kickstart this for you?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I've been a nurse for a long time. I signed up for REAN after the June masterclass, and they keep increasing my hours at work, which makes it incredibly difficult for me to have time to work on deals. Not too long ago, I contacted Cindy and Shane regarding a possible deal in Virginia, where I live, but it turns out that it's probably not going to cash flow. So I didn't continue with that. Don't have the money at this point to deal with marketing. To be honest with you, I don't even have the time because I drive 2 hours round trip. So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can get into this without trying to do wholesaling in the middle of nowhere, USA.
Absolutely. I have been there myself. And just to give you some context, so you're working three days a week, 3 nights, 3 12-hour shifts.
No, I wish
2 hour.
I used to work 3 12-hour shifts, but they changed my hours. So now I have to drive 2 hours round trip 5 days a week.
Holy torpedo, Batman! You're spending 4 hours a day in the car.
No,
round trip, an hour a day,
2 hours
or an
round
hour
trip.
one way.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's my wife's a nurse too. That's what she's doing. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. Well, I can tell you that it can be done. I'm happy to help. Shane, Chris, Cindy, we're all happy to help be a resource any way that we can. Maybe having a little bit of clarity and some context would be super helpful as well, I'm sure. So to give you some context, when I first got into real estate, it was extremely frustrating. My first mentorship, I mean, I think Reen's up there. What I've heard Reen is like, what, like 20 grand or something like that?
Yeah.
Ish, somewhere in that ballpark. So the first mentorship I ever paid for was $23,000. And I didn't have the money for it. I maxed out 2 credit cards to do it. I was in the Air Force at the time. And so I was working full time. My wife is a nurse. She was working full time. We had 3 kids. I live in Alaska. And there was a lot going on. So my day would usually start out, I'd wake up at 5 a.m. and I'd leave the house at 5:45 because I also lived an hour away from base. So I'd get to work at about 6:45 and I would work from 6:45 until 4 p.m. And then I would get off work and I would get back home at 5 p.m. So 5 p.m. in Alaska is 9 p.m. on the East Coast, which is the market that we were working. So I spent $23,000 and I'm trying to figure out, after the excitement kind of wore off, I'm trying to figure out, like, all right, how do I actually make money? How do I actually make something happen? Because I can't even call sellers in the market that I'm working. It's 9 p.m. Not to mention, when I get home at 5, my wife was leaving for work. She was working nights. So she was leaving at 5:30 to head to the hospital, which was an hour away. And so we're kind of high-fiving when I get through the door, sort of. And she goes to work, and then I'm at home. I had 3 kids at the time. I've got 4 now. And we had 3 kids at the time, and one of them was a newborn. And so I just want to paint this picture for you real quick. So I get home. I've got sellers that I need to follow up with. I'm high-fiving my wife. She leaves. I've got to make dinner for my kids. I've got to get everybody fed. I've got to get everybody bathed. I got to get everybody in pajamas and into bed. I was finishing up my degree at the time, and I just started on this new venture in real estate. And I've got to figure out I don't even have, on top of everything else that I've got to do, I've got to somehow figure out a way to call sellers. And by the time I even walk through the door, it's already 9 p.m. So from my perspective, I was like, man, if there's one person on this planet who really doesn't have the time, I felt like it was me. And after a couple months of trying to figure this out, I went through a lot of mindset issues. I was feeling, extremely bad for myself. I had a lot of mindset barriers and issues that came along with that as a consequence. I started thinking, like, man, why did I just do this? I just maxed out 2 credit cards. I've just put my family in, financial jeopardy, and I can't afford this. And why did I think I was capable of doing this? And blah, 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 blah. And then I was scrolling through YouTube, and I found an individual who ended up becoming my mentor. And I was watching one of his videos, didn't know who he was at the time. I knew of him actually, I guess. But I was scrolling through his YouTube videos. He wasn't well known, and I was scrolling through the comments. And one of the comments was from an individual. It was kind of snarky. I don't remember what it said, but I just remember reading it thinking like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe somebody would post such a mean comment. But I remembered that my mentor, who wasn't my mentor at the time, but he had responded underneath it. And it was so life-changing for me, what he said. And at the same time, it's not anything that you wouldn't see on a bumper sticker. And the only thing that he said was, millionaires don't complain about time. So I pondered on that. I went to bed thinking about that, and it brought up so many different ideas for me. Because I thought, man, here I am thinking that I'm the one person who can complain about time, who truly doesn't have any time. But yet you've got somebody who's very successful, multimillionaire, saying that millionaires don't complain about time. It was almost like a godsend. It was almost like exactly what I needed to hear right then and there. And so then I started having thoughts of like, all right, well, started thinking about like all the millionaires, think about Grant Cardone, you think about Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and Elon Musk and all these successful individuals. I'm like, man, all right, if 90% of millionaires are self-made and millionaires don't complain about time, then there stands reason to believe that 90% of those successful individuals have overcome the same situation. So what am I missing here? So then I had an epiphany. I'm like, all right, well, if millionaires don't complain about time, then how do I create time? I was like, oh, you know what? I could wake up earlier. So I started waking up at 3:00 in the morning, because 4 hours ahead, that's 7 a.m. on Florida, probably a little bit earlier for some people, but at least it's not 9 p.m. that I'm even starting to even think about calling. So that's what I did. I started waking up at 3 a.m., started taking my laptop into the garage, and I sat in the car in the garage. So I didn't wake up the rest of my family, and just made calls, just started making calls, just started cutting my teeth. And then and then plus I had the hour commute. So I was making calls. I all of a sudden created 4 hours nearly of work that I could be doing in my business. And then as soon as I got home, that's when I started having like business meetings with my business partners, started working on other parts of the business, creating SOPs, connecting with other people to help build my business and sharing my vision. So that's why when I kind of started reprioritizing my time a little bit, and I'm not going to lie, Teresa, I was tired AF. I mean, those were some long days.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the same time, that's where you see the 1% and the 99%. You look at what the 1% will tolerate, and you look at what the 99% tolerate. And so for me, I was like, man, this is just something that I've got to figure out. I've got to do. I've got to get, and that's where the growth comes in. That's where getting uncomfortable comes in. That's where doing all these things. That's where just being willing to wake up at 3 when nobody else is willing to do that. That's where you start getting an edge on everybody else. That's when you start getting more practice time. That's when you start finding more about yourself. And it's interesting because having the courage to do that, and having the willingness to do that motivation, that dedication, that discipline isn't just tailored to waking up early. It's all, you start finding that same confidence and that same discipline overflowing into other aspects of your life and in your business. And the things that you used to tolerate begin to shrink. And when the things you used to tolerate begin to shrink, that's when your business starts elevating. Most people won't eat shit for 2 years so they can eat sushi for the rest of their life. And for me, that was a really, really hard lesson to learn. But it was something that I did, and it's allowed me to leave the military and to jump into this, doing this full time. And now I just get to hang out with my kids and my family and do all the things. But that's how it started. So all of this to say, like Chris, to make a long story long here, Teresa, I totally resonate with how you're feeling. Because I've been there. So what can I do to be a support system for you? Be an accountability partner for you, to give you the resources and the tools that you need to make this a success.
Honestly, I don't honestly think there's anything anybody can do. I just have to try to figure it out myself.
Well, what's keeping you? You don't have to figure it out by yourself. That's the cool thing about this whole thing, is you don't have to, nor should you. If you're trying to figure it out by yourself, then you're doing it wrong.
There's 14 of us on right now, and there's 2,300 in the channel, in the group. There's people that have going through your situation, have gone through your situation, might have a different perspective. We're all here to help. I had a really good. Go ahead, Teresa.
I had just an idea just now. So she's spending 20 hours a week driving. Is there not somewhere that you can get a place for not very much that's closer to your job during the week? And that would give you 20, well, at least 10 hours back, 10 hours more a week. And I don't know if you're married or anything like that. So the other thought is you can rent a room out in your house while you're gone, and then you have some income coming in.
Well,
Other than nursing.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Or you could also, I mean, there's so many ways to go about this without having any money, if that's the thing, or time. I bet there are people in here, Teresa, like as an example, just as an example, not saying you have to do this, just trying to make a point here. If you could figure out a way to get leads, and you don't even have to pay for leads. If you could figure out a way to get leads, for example, I bet there is somebody in here that's like, Teresa, actually, you know what? I've got a couple hours every day. I can call those leads and then send them to you, and then we can figure out how to send an LOI or whatever. So at least now you have consistency. Your role is to generate leads, have somebody else who has a couple hours a day to cold call or to call the agent, or if you're doing DTA or whatever that is. And now you have time on your hour commute, either to or from. That's where you guys could have a business meeting. Hey, who did you send LOIs off to today? What are the next steps? What needs to be done? Da, 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 da. And then maybe you spend an hour or two when you get home doing those things. But there are so many ways that you could go about it. And that's where coming to these meetings and leveraging like the Facebook group is so vital. Because if you're trying to figure it out on yourself, if you're trying to do it all by yourself, then you're doing it wrong.
Thanks for your advice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Keep us posted as well, and we'll definitely keep you in mind if we can come up with anything. Got any leads in your area? We'll figure out how to work together and get you through this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, Christy, you have your hands up again. Did you make that phone call?
Well, I've been texting her, and she's bless her heart. She said, "Can I take the call in the bathroom?" she
Oh
said
my.
she thinks she has COVID, but I don't know. Like I said, sure. So I sent her Jesse's email and phone number. So you may be getting an email. She said that she said I may as well just get, because she's in California and I'm in Texas. So she said I might just give this over to you. She only has till tomorrow to come up with a solution for this man, and then he's going to sign with somebody else. So
just to clarify real quick, Christy, she can't jump on the Zoom right now and she's only got till tomorrow.
She's throwing up. So that's why she can't jump on the Zoom right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she's like, I'm sick. I'm so sick. And I said, well, wouldn't this make a a great story for the books. If you know, I got my first deal closed while I was throwing up in the bathroom.
I'll tell you, leads like this are hard to find, Christy, and it would it kind of suck to have this one go away if she wasn't feeling well.
I know, and I'm trying to help her in every way I can, but there's only so much I can do. Wait, she says, okay, are you going to be on the line? Yes, let me answer her real quick.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I guess just keep us in the loop then. If anything changes, let us know where we can help. Hope she gets feeling better.
Well, I'm answering her right this minute. That we're on the Zoom call. Jump on.
Okay.
Is that all right with y'all?
Yeah, please. I think we've got to wrap up here shortly.
Yep.
So if she can jump in right now, we can get into it and she can just listen in. Or we can just touch base with her later when she's feeling better.
Okay. It's either way. She wants me to be on the line with us, however, because I may have to finish this out for her, which I don't know how to do. So we're good.
Gotcha. Well, I know you said the property's where in Texas?
Yeah.
Okay, so today's basically a wash then. So there's nothing we can do today because it's already 8:15 there, or after 4 there, right?
Yeah, it's 4:15.
Gotcha.
But that doesn't mean that today is a wash. I mean, whatever we can do to find out what to do. You know, if I have to call him for her, I will. But
well, you said we have until tomorrow, right? Does that mean the property's going to auction tomorrow?
No.
Oh.
Okay. Tomorrow he wants to work with her, but if she can't pull through, then he's going to sign with somebody else.
Gotcha. So he's just giving her till tomorrow.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes more
sense. How about we just call you, Jesse, after this, and
I've got meetings and stuff lined up the rest of the day as well. That's why I was trying to really push to get her on here now. I know she can't talk, but at least I can give you guys the information now.
Okay.
I've got about 11 minutes and then I've got meetings, and I'm like I said, I'm 4 hours behind everybody else. So I'm going to be working while everybody else is still in, while everybody else is in bed.
Yeah. Well, she said she just tried to call you, but it went to voicemail.
Oh, that was probably her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have her jump on the Zoom.
I don't know how to send her the link, and under stressful situations like this, when it's urgent, I can't function.
That's okay. Let me put the Shane, do you want to put the link to the Zoom in the chat and then she can copy and paste it?
Coming right now.
Perfect.
Okay.
There you go. Right in the chat.
Okay.
While you're doing that, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, Chris.
Hey, Cindy, out of curiosity, did you guys receive the LLC docs for tomorrow's closing?
I did. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to make sure because Patrick just texted me and just wasn't sure if you guys.
And I sent them to Shane with big and asterisks and making sure he saves them too.
Yes, save filed.
Can you forward it over to me, please? So I can send out the DocuSign for you guys.
Yep,
Okay.
coming at you.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
you. Okay, I sent it to her.
And what'd you say her name was?
She goes. I call her Patricia because that's her name, but she goes by Gigi Ann on Facebook. And
what should I call her?
Call her Patricia.
Okay. Patricia. I've seen a couple of those names throughout the last week. Couple Pats, couple Patricias. One time we had like 5 Lisas. Remember that, Chris? Like everybody's name was Lisa. This week it's Patricia's. Cool.
All right, working
All right.
with us. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
All these women, they just seem to have such problems, and I try to help them out, and then nothing works or has worked so far.
No, you're good. You are good. If you want to have Patricia text me, I can send her the link as well.
I just sent it to her by text. All she has to do is click on.
Raj. Okay, cool. Cool.
So, and if nothing else, I might need you to just just record what we need to know, and then I'll take it from there. I don't know what else to do. It seems like it would be a good property because if nothing else, if there's 6 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms, surely you can rent that thing out. Not the whole house. It wouldn't cash flow for the whole house to do, but you could rent the rooms out.
Gotcha.
Maybe she can reach out to him and just see if she can't get a little more time just because she's been sick, and then schedule an appointment with Jesse.
Okay.
Work out the details. That
Reach
might,
out to the seller. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
just let him know that, she's ill and wasn't able to make the phone call tonight. So maybe we can get something on the schedule for tomorrow that works for everybody's time.
Okay. Because I know you've got just a few minutes to go. So anyway, I will let y'all know what I'm doing. I'm working for another investor, and they have a buyer that wants 50 properties in a certain zip code. And so I'm searching the zip code and making a list and sending it on. And I get paid 50, half profit for those.
There you go.
Yeah, payday needs
Oh, yeah.
to come. Payday really needs to come.
So is that working out for you?
I've already done one list, one zip code, waiting for that to go through. Everything, of course, you got to go and you got to call the people and get them to sell their properties so that you got, you can present it to your buyer and then they'll buy them and all that stuff. Then I get paid after that. But I'm on my second step.
All right.
And it's quite tedious, but it's working better than anything else I've done. I've had a VA that called for me 10 hours a week, every week for 3 months. I got 3 appointments, and all 3 of them filed for bankruptcy and said, nope, don't need you. And I was like, oh, geez, you got to be kidding me. And so nothing else has worked for me so far. I still keep trying. Went to a big dog meeting yesterday because I'm a big dog detective, and got to network with quite a lot of people. There was one lady that was there that went to the Real Estate Masters. I think it was last month or the month before, I don't remember. And she gave me some advice to do on the property that I'd like to get down in Lockhart, where it has houses and an RV spots on there. Where I think I talked to y'all about it last week, where 24 acres, and so she gave me some ideas, and so it's time for y'all to go. So I guess I will talk with you later.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you, Christy.
All right, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you too.
Oh, Cindy, call me when you get off because I've got some good news for you. Okay?
Okay, will do.
All right, thanks.
Will do.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Chris. So as soon as I get the signed document from Cindy, I'll forward that on to you.
Thank you.
All right. So everybody, let's take some action this week. Let's go get some leads. If you need help doing that, reach out to Jesse or Chris or Cindy or myself, and we will help you. I think I'll get something scheduled this week and next week. Maybe we'll do a couple of them, a couple of privy power hours, and we'll just sit down and pick some markets and let's go find some deals. Let's get some offers made. As Jesse and the cold weather reminds me that the year is rapidly coming to a close, so we need to step up our game and get our goals done. So,
Sound good.
all right, I appreciate everybody. Great to see you, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.